Okay, so here's a little bit of help on how to work through Unit 2, Activity 6. And first there's a quiz to work on the sidewalk bleeding. That was the story we've already read. And then we're going to be doing two different news reports, and we're talking about angles. This content section was about angles, because depending on what angle you're looking as the news reporter, you might think of it, write the story two completely different ways. So one of the news reports will be the angle from police officers in courts dealing with gang violence. The other news report is going to be from the angle of young people and their families and friends who are impacted by gang violence, okay? And we can use the exemplar we did in the last one of how to set things up and how to plan a news report. So we can use the same template. There's an editing checklist afterwards you can go through, okay? So the editing checklist looks like this. And you should have someone else edit your work, okay? What's the headline? Did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do this? Yes or no? Yes or no? You can even have comments as well. Or you can do the same peer editing checklist we used before, where it has room for comments as well. Either one is fine. And there's a little rubric at the end for self-assessment to say how do you think you did on each of these criteria, whether or not, and you can read through each of them. And did you demonstrate a thorough understanding of news report structure and form? Did you provide relevant, etc.? Okay, so you can go through each of those and highlight where you think you should be for each of those. Okay, so the report itself, again, we're using the planning news report. We're looking for self-assessment rubric and all planning materials and drafts. Now, draft means your first time around, and then your final one wouldn't be called a draft, because a draft is a working copy, something you need to create. Okay, that'll give you some of the stuff here. So here's the family angle. So I'd save this as Unit 6, or Unit 2, Activity 6 family angle would be mine if I was going to save it. And here's the headline we're going to use. Byline, remember who it's by, the lead. Remember, the lead's got to tell you what's going on, all right? You try and give the main overall part of your story so people know what to expect and they decide whether they want to read on. Okay, this who, what, where, when, why, and how is pretty minimal. This is a student exemplar, okay, example, and it's a bit minimal. I would put more details in here of what you're going to do, because this is how you plan out how you're going to write your story before you don't just start writing. This is your planning of it. Since this one's the family angle, this person's talked about the sister, a teacher, and some other undisclosed, I don't know why we do that, but undisclosed source, but maybe the mother might come in there as well, because we're talking about parents and family or whatever. Okay, and some kind of wrap up. So that's the plan. And then here we go with the actual writing. Okay, so we have the lead. It's spread out. It's nice and easy. This one's a little bit shorter than some, but that doesn't matter. Okay, so each paragraph is talking about something else. So here's the person about the sister talking. Here's somebody with the OPP. Okay, some other person who remains nameless. A little more information, and then some kind of wrap up. So it's nice and clear and easy. And that's all talking about how one person might write it as a family angle. And then we're going to do the same thing, but now we're doing it from the police angle. Okay, it's probably, it doesn't matter, but it might be a little more just the facts and here's what's going on. I'm not sure. Okay, and they had the sources they're talking about. I don't think they actually use these ones. They use some of this in their stuff. I'm not sure if that's the same quotes they used or not. I can't remember. But then we get into the writing of it. Okay, this is the facts. This is the constable did this. A homeless lady talked about it. Another resident talked about this. This is some more of what the writer's thinking. And here's some kind of conclusion or the next steps, what's going on afterwards. So nice and clear and easy. This one didn't show exactly editing happening. Okay, maybe they left that out, but they didn't show it, so there should be a first one and then some scratches all over it, or changes, or some highlights of what you want to change, or someone else is going to change for you, and then your final version. Okay, so that gives you some ideas on how to do stuff. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to do that.